morning, welcome. It's going to take a moment to see if some people want to join us. I'm going to be doing a session of FaeryTales Unveiled. This is the final session. There's been 3 series, a past, a present, and a future. We're going to be doing the future today. This is the final series, okay? I'm going to sage and just wait for a few people to arrive. And if not, I'll continue on and you guys can catch this later because it's going to apply over a lifetime. It's quite interesting energies today. There was a porthole opening yesterday in the planetary alignment, with the energy of Venus being the most prominent energy that we're contending with and opening up. So lots to do about divine unions, soulmates, relationships, etc. Working out that. And we're at a time when a lot of energy is available to us. So I'm doing these readings as a service for the public. If you do wish to donate, you're more than welcome to. On my GoFundMe page, I'll put a post up a little later. Ooh, smoky. I think I'm going to move this out of the way a little, right out of the... Typically I move it there, but I moved my camera today, so you guys can maybe see my shuffle a little bit more. Alright, so... I'm going to begin with the sign of Aries. And once again, I'm going to read out of the book what it is the fairies are going to tell us for the future. And if you have watched the past and the present videos that are adjacent with this one, you'll know what you're contending with. And I'm feeling that it'll all make sense to you if you guys were to watch it in sequence. If you went back, if you haven't had a chance to watch the other 2, all right? So let's get into Aries here. And guys, I'm going to do my best to try and remember where I am, but the energy is coming down pretty heavy. So if I forget what sign I'm on, somebody just tell me I'm on the wrong sign. But I'm going to start with Aries, all right? So we have the Frog Prince, Intimacy. Okay? Give me a moment and I'll find it. This is the 13th day of the month, so I feel like yesterday was a very important day for you. The planetary alignment, like I said, at this time, Venus is shining its shine very strongly right now and helping us birth the energies that we need to move into the new system of the Aquarian age and out of the Piscean age. Okay? Oh, excuse me, there's some people messaging me when I'm on live, sorry. Okay. So, the Frog Prince, Intimacy. The frog answered, I do not care for thy clothes, thy pearls, and thy jewels. 1 second, turn this music down, guys, sorry. Or thy golden crown, but thou wilt love me, and let me be thy companion and playfellow, and sit by thee and thy little table, and eat off thy golden plate, and drink out of thy golden cup, and sleep in thy golden bed. If thou wilt promise me this, I will go down below, and bring 3 of thy golden balls up again. A princess, an only child, is consumed by her own world, where only what she wants matters at times. Thus her toys and possessions have taken the place of relationships. She takes, as she so often does, a walk by herself. While she is selfish, she is also self-sufficient and independent. A golden ball is her favorite plaything. She's alone and used to be alone and self-reliant. She loses the ball in the spring, in water, emotions, memory, flow. She loves her plaything and weeps, and she says she would give up it all of her jewels, all of her treasures, just for her ball back. And a talking frog comes out, and he is an amazing frog. Ooh. You guys may be dealing with somebody coming towards you. That's pretty exciting. Not only does he speak, but he shows compassion because he wants to know why she weeps. The message for you with this card is intimacy. That you are not willing to let people at present time in and allow them to understand who you truly are or learn who they truly are. You are not seeing people or not truly. You are seeing only what is there before you and not what it seems. There are qualities available to you at present. Charm and learning and wisdom, intimacy. Share the food from your plate and share your thought and words. There's someone who wishes to get to know you very deeply, but you're repulsed by what you must ponder when this card comes to you. And if you make a promise, you must keep it. And the power of the word is very strong in fairy tales. If you think you can benefit out of a relationship without intimacy, the lesson is that the relationship demands that you have true intimacy and all fears and abhorrences we feel in the opening up to another, and you will be rewarded. This is not a tale about accepting people regardless of their looks, although there is a touch of that here too. It's truly about deep relationships and the difficulty that we must feel in becoming truly intimate with another and sharing our lives with another. Relinquishing our isolation can be repulsive at times. The princess, by keeping her word and letting him grow close to her, breaks the spell, and while in some of its tellings it would seem that the reward is the beauty of the true prince hidden within the form of the frog. And it is truly about intimacy and closeness and the great rewards that it can bring, but also about keeping our word. So the message is twofold for those of you who are keeping things at arm's length. What are you keeping at arm's length? And what have you to lose allowing a worthy soul close to you? What is the promise that you have made that you have not fulfilled? Okay, Aries, what I'm sensing here is all of that energy coming in for you is these fairy tales. You know, if you've watched the other series parts, the first and second part, I explain a little bit about what fairies do for us. They come in, they are forms of energy that come in at birth, and they watch over us. They give us lessons through fairy tales that we've heard as children. And so if you're not reading fairy tales to your children, do so, because these little seeds, they're like seeds of wisdom that grow with us as we get older and apply them later. So this is one of unselfishness, of seeing past the illusions of what is presented to you to the true wisdom of things. And I feel, Aries, that you are doing this with all of your experiences moving into the future. So I'm really sensing here, Aries, that you're presented with offers that don't maybe look so good or so fruitful to you in the beginning, but I feel like you need to give things a chance. In this next little while, your energy opens up, and I feel like you do that. You give people chances now, and you're learning this lesson very, very well, to step aside, to have trust in yourself, to have confidence in your own decisions, and to move forward into correct relationships. I'm sensing this strongly for you, Aries, in the very near future, and I'm going to tell you something. The energy that opened up yesterday on the planetary alignment with the Venus alignment, what is happening until probably I would say into the summer of next year, 2020, this is an escalating energy. So this series is about all of that and the progression of that into next year, okay? So for the last 3 readings. So now I'm going to go into Taurus. I hope everybody is doing well today. Welcome. I'm not going to talk too much while I'm channeling these messages, but I will leave a 15-minute time slot afterwards when I'm done each individual sign, and I'm going to open the spot for questions. So if you guys have questions later, you are more than welcome to ask a question, okay, at the end. So I'm only going to leave it open for 15 minutes, so I'm doing what I can to get in all the readings, but there you go, okay? So that's what's going to happen later. So there's Tauruses. All right. Fairies, words. Okay, let me find it. Just a second. What did I do with my glasses? There they are. Off, on, off, on. All right. 28. 28. I hope everybody's had a good week so far. My life here has been a little bit hectic, but it's been good, you know? All right, so for Taurus, we have here fairies' words. Root force or bribe of diamonds. Bend others to your will. But gentle words have great power and gain more conquest still. When the princess is in fairy tales speak, jewels fall from her lips. Here, when the dragonflies and the magical creatures hover, already adorned her with gifts, awaiting for her next word. This is a symbolic treasure of a tale, in which one of three sisters is so sweet-hearted that even though her siblings and stepmother have never loved her or spoken a single kind word to her, she is still pure of heart and kind to all. She is as one of her many chores, goes to the well and draws water, a symbol of drawing upon ancient primal energy and memories. And an old woman ask her to give her a drink. She is kind, and of course she dips the ladle into the well and pours sweet water into the parched lips of an old woman, who reveals herself to be a fairy. Ooh, this is a magical one I'm feeling here, Tauruses. Really feeling the energy of this one for sure. Bless the grief for her goodness, and after that... Oh, hang on a minute, I read that wrong. And this fairy blessed the girl for her goodness, and after that, every word that comes from the girl's mouth is accompanied by either a flower or a jewel. This blessing is simply a representation of the girl's essence and her soul, which a fairy woman, with her ability to see through the heart of human, has recognized and rewarded. When her stepmother sees the girl and watches diamonds and rubies and roses and lilies fall from her lips, the first time she values her daughter, she demands to know why she has been gifted with such riches. And when the girl explains, open-hearted as she is, the stepmother sends her sisters to the well to do the same. But the fairy is not foolish, disguised herself once again, and so while the sister is expecting the little old woman, a glorious queen comes forth and asks for a drink of water. Instead of obliging, the sister rolls her eyes and demands that she go off and away. Interesting. Of course, the fairy then rewards this action, and with the toads and worms falling from the sister's lips, the mother blames the good sister for this misfortune and banishes her to the forest, where she meets the king's son a-hunting, who asks her why she is there alone, why so sad. And when she tells her story, he values not only the jewels that spring forth, but her beauty and honesty, her grace and dignity. Of course, the story ends with the king marrying this girl, so rich in beauty, kindness, intelligence, diplomacy, and eloquence, and the sister who speaks so cruelly and cursedly dies, and sad death. This is a story about appearances, good manners, and good-heartedness being for everybody. This is about how, especially when we have no advantage in doing the right thing, we do the right thing anyways. And when this card comes to you, you are being asked to watch the thoughts within and head your change to them, and to speak your words of beauty, and to not be, and this does not mean to flatter or give in to falsehoods. It is, though, to find beauty in yourself, people in the world, and every situation, and speak within this beauty, and from this beauty within. To do this, we must alter the ugliness or distortions that originate in our own mind and leach ourselves out of toxins of the ugly thoughts and the kind that can poison us from within. You are being told that if others seem to have what you desire, you cannot suddenly create it. There is work to be done at a deep level of thought, and in time, when you have worked on your own mind and your own conscience, your own energy, the words will fall from your lips, and the energy that pours from you will be like jewels from your lips on the princess. That will be the external evidence of what the great beauty is within you. But if you resist this and do not do the work at a deep level first, then you will never find the right words, and you will never find what poison you do not clear from your mind and heart. It will somehow leak into your world. Through your words and through your deeds, clear yourself, do your work, and then beauty you have to offer the world will come from you, as naturally as rain falls from a cloud, as a sunrise. That's an amazing message I'm feeling here, Taurus. You know, how often do people, chase after things that they think are going to give them value? And it's always an external energy. And I'm feeling here, Taurus, the lesson is that you have a great secret of beauty and energy that holds the value of this. And so when someone looks at you and becomes wanting what you have without doing the work behind that, what it took you to create that beauty, it could create these types of people in and around you. But I'm sensing here that when you are pulling in energy, Taurus, of this beauty, and people are recognizing it and trying to pull it from you, I feel like when you see the true beauty of yourself, this happens. And so these people are trying to get that for themselves. So you just have to keep quiet and hold that energy within yourself and reflect back the negativity that, on themselves. Let them deal and cope with that. But I am sensing you were dealing with some of that. And also, some of you Tauruses may also be in the position where, I'm not really sensing it's you that's the jealous. I feel like other people are jealous of you here. And so this is something that you've been contending with since childhood. The people around you are not valuing the energies that you have brought forth here, Taurus, I'm sensing. And so I feel like the true energy that you shine forth when you go in a different area, this is what I'm really feeling with this. You may not be doing this right now, or you may be starting to do this. You're going to go in different areas, and that's where people appreciate the little jewels that you have. And so people around you really truly aren't appreciating what you got going on. So there's a message there for you to make sure you value yourself and what you're saying to other people. The old saying comes to mind here, don't throw pearls before swine, right? That's sort of the end of the message that I'm sensing for Taurus. I am now going to move on into the sign of Gemini. I'll be pulling cards at the end of the reading for individual readings in about a 15-minute slot. And if you want to hang around for that, you're more than welcome to. So these fairy cards are, I'm taking them out for people who want a reading. I guess it's a period covering basically from the full moon energy into probably into the summer of next year, 2020. So if you want to go back and look at some of those readings, there's a first part, a second part, and this is the third part series with these particular cards, okay? So the value of it is that these energies do come from childhood, and they're lessons that have been sort of presented to us throughout our lifetime, and these energies have watched over this. Until present, they're going to bring it to your mind again, so you can contend with things that you need to, that are going to make you a little bit happier in your life. So you have brother and sister transformation. All right. So she hunted up leaves and moss to make a soft bed for the little roe, and every morning and evening she went out and gathered roots, nuts, and berries for herself, and tended young grass for the fawn, and fed from her hand, and played around her, and seemed quite happy. In the evening, when sister was tired, she said her prayers, and then laid her head on the fawn's back, and fell asleep with it as a pillow. If brother had but kept his natural form, really it would have been a most delightful kind of life. All right. Hi guys, sorry about that. I got interrupted with somebody calling me. Not sure why someone would be calling me right now, but anyhow, I'm going back to that. All right. So, I'll continue on. So here we go. In this enchanted tale, Maybe I should read it again. I'm not sure if everybody heard or not, actually. So she hunted up leaves and moss to make up a soft bed for the little roe, and every morning and evening she went out and gathered roots and nuts and berries for herself. And the tender young grass and the fawn, and he fed from her hand, and played around with her and seemed quite happy. In the evening, when sister was tired, she said her prayers, and then laid her head on the fawn's back and fell sound asleep with it as a pillow. And if brother had but kept his natural form, really it would have been the most delightful kind of life. In this enchanted tale, which has vibrations of the old Nordic lands, of the steppes of Russia, the young man and woman barely out of their childhood are driven from their homes, and in this enchantment upon the land. And when they came to a stream, and thirsty brother is warned by his sister not to drink from it, or he will be turned into a wild bear, and tear her apart. At this next stream, he again just resisted drinking, for his sister warns him again that if he does, he will be turned into a wolf, and she will be devoured. But when they reach the third stream, his thirst cannot be tamed, and he drinks, and at this the stream he turns immediately into a roebuck. His sister promises to care for him, to prevent him from running away. She plaits a rope of rushes, and gently leads him to a house, and she finds it in the woods. She cares for him, forges for him, and they live in a beautiful life, until a king enters the forest with his hunting party. This part of the tale is the ancient remnant of the wild hunt. The fairy king will break the enchanted impart, and at first buy discovered this beautiful woman who cares so tenderly for her brother. But after making her his queen, and cared for her and respecting her and her brother, and the enchantress discovers this, and comes after the happiness of the young woman yet again. This shows the relentless nature of resentment and the folly of holding on to it, because of course the evil one, if is defeated, and the balance of his human form is restored to the brother. This tale is about so much. How can you balance what it is you want with what it is to take place of once you obtained it? How to delay your gratification? How to maintain your integrity with the wild, and yet be able to have a strong will? And how to live a good life when we seem to be cursed, and how to survive the envy of others when our happiness is too much for bitter hearts to bear. And of course it is about to close relationships with family members, and care what we do for the young, helping them work through their way through the differences between what they want and what they will and what will harm them. So I'm sensing here, Gemini, that you have some decisions to be making concerning what's going on. Sorry about all that interruption earlier. I don't know. A lot of people have been calling me, and I can't seem to turn off my messenger when I'm doing this at the same time. So it's a little bit of a problem. So just pisses me off anyways. Hope it hasn't been too interruptive. But anyhow, so with this energy I'm sensing here, Gemini, what's coming down is a choice between different things that you're contenting with, between what's going to make your life good and not. And I feel like you know the decisions that you're making right now. Some of the choices I'm sensing are really disturbing what's going on within your love life. I feel like it's pulling you away and like causing you some drama, okay? And so when you pull away here, Gemini, I'm sensing that it clears away all of the things in your path that are blocking you to that true love energy. So you don't have to hang on to these old resentments. You can release the energies. You don't have obligations. You don't have to live up to something if it's not healthy for you. That's the word, that's the message that I'm getting here, okay guys? All right, so now I'm going to move into the energy of Cancer. Hi everyone for joining me who is just arrived. I'm going through astrological signs. I'm going to do a card opening up the energy to ask questions later at the end of all the astrological signs. And I'm on Cancer right now. Okay? I hope everybody's doing well. So for the sign of Cancer, oh, brother and sister transformation. You can't get the same card. I'm not reading the same card. Maybe it's going to save me time if I do that, but I don't feel that's right. Okay, so you guys, and it's the same one as the first one. Guys, look it, I'm not kidding. I'm not taking the same cards. I'm going to just keep shuffling. Maybe what I'm going to say, though, is that for Cancer, you will want to listen to Aries, and you will want to listen to... oh my God, it's come out again. Guys. Okay, you know what? I'm going to take this, but you guys got to go listen to Aries reading. I'm not going to read it all over again, okay? So at the end, I'm sorry, but if you've just joined, but you got to go back and listen to Aries because it'll save time and it is the same message, okay? But what I'm going to say, where'd it go? Now it's disappeared. There it is. What I'm going to say with this is that with Cancer, I am feeling that you are desiring to be with a soulmate that is not with you. So you need to apply this for the, go back to the reading and at the end, take the message that I read as it is, but I'm going to do the channeling now here for Cancer. And what it is that you cannot be sad about being separate from your soulmate right now. I feel like they're going to come in just at a later date in like next summer. That's what I'm sensing, okay? So I don't know, I can't remember the channeled message for Cancer, but for Aries, I mean Cancer, so you have to go back and listen, all right? So now I'm going to move into the energy here of Leos. Whoop. Wow. Just a second. All right. Don the golden-haired duty. Okay, so that's the fairy that came in. And I'm going to find it in the book and read it. So these red messages are messages from childhood fairies that have visited us. And these messages have come to us for into the future. And the past and the present are in the other first two readings that I did in different videos. You'll have to hook up on my playlist on the page. And you can get those earlier ones. So we're going to go into this reading now. Here for Leo. Page 40. Dawn the golden-haired, and the message is duty. She set him free with her own hands, and she placed a golden crown on his head and a royal cloak on his shoulders. Come, she said, I make you my king. A young princess had hair the color of sun at first light, and she wore it about her as a cloak, to bring both high and hide within, and to feel safe behind it. She was so lovely she was named Dawn, and all who held her gave away a piece of their heart to her. A great king who beheld her beauty and deeply fell in love with her. He went to her father and to her mother and asked her for her hand, but they said it was Dawn's decision to make, and she loved her home well, and she wished only to belong to herself. And the king went away and chose a bright and good young man to plead his case, for the king was too busy with the matters of state to conduct a romance. So the young man went away, and although he was fine to gaze upon, and well made and strong, canny and fine, he was humble and trusted his king and what his king had given to him. As he thought of how he could win the princess for his king, he took to the woods, and where he felt the most at peace, he paused a small lake and saw fish out of water, choking on the air, wiggling desperately towards the water. He gently picked it up and gave it back to the waters, and the fish leaped high in the silver waters, thanking him. He promised him a good deed when he had need. The young man smiled. How could a fish help him win the hand of dawn to the golden-haired? A little later he saw a crow being hunted by an eagle, and he climbed high and chased off the eagle, feeling that for this day he could be sure the humble deed as well as the mighty. And the crow thanked him too and promised him reward. When the time came and the young man smiled, a crow to come to his aid, and then he came upon an owl. Caught with the net left by humans, he delicately freed the owl, not wishing to damage it in any way. The owl gazed upon him, sleepy and weary, and after a long night, struggling, he promised her his favorites. And when the time came, he would fulfill the favor. At last, he knew what he would do to gain the favor of the princess for his king. He found the two playful puppies and headed for the castle. Dawn readied herself, knowing that what she would do would marry none, for the unknown best, to the young man, at an ogre who lived nearby, and had sworn to make Dawn his own. And she knew if she married another, it would bring death upon that man, and upon all in her kingdom. But when he came to her with the fine, playful little dogs, and the kindness shining from his eyes, she felt herself falling in love, and told him of her need. But it is said that her hand was intended for his king, and he would merely his messenger, and he insisted he must try to win her hand. So he sighed, and gave her first quest, and find a lost ring, which had fallen from her slender fingers as she swam. And to his surprise, little fishy coming out. Gotta turn the page just a second, guys. To his surprise, the fish had saved and brought him the ring, but still she did not wish to marry this young man's king, for she was falling in love with his messenger. So a second quest was given, and that the giant with the urn and a yen for her must be destroyed, so she and her kingdom could be free. The young man left, and as he approached the giant's abode, he made a skeleton of former advisories and his friends of the crow-dove from the skies, and plucked out the eyes of the giant. And the ogre fell to the ground, withering in pain, and the young man unsheathed the sword, and took his head, and was not enough, for Dawn had fallen so deeply in love with the young man before her, that she wished only to send him on his way, so she would not only be reminded of what she could never have, but what he succeeded in the third task to do was, with the help of the wise owl he rescued. So she married the king, who then threw the loyal young man into the prison, as he could see how Dawn adored him, and finally, due to his own jealousy, he passed away. Dawn was finally able to marry the man she adored and set herself free, and to keep her kingdom free too. But her story about love seems thwarted, but which she does eventually come to be. So this is the card of hope, and that the card of duty, reluctantly but honorably done, is the card about happily ever after, and Dawn and true love lived life, along with their little two dogs, of course, happily ever after. So what I'm sensing here, Leo, is that there's been a lot of difficulties, maybe connected with someone that you're not really feeling on the same level as, and so you may have lost someone, and it has been a difficult relationship. I'm sensing that there's been separation anyways from the past, and moving into this new energy. I feel before 2020, next year, there will be the correct energy of soulmate energy coming in to associate along with this message. So really, I'm feeling that this message is something very interesting coming in for you. So what I'm doing is going by astrological sign. So I started with the sign of Aries, and then I did Taurus, I did Cancer, and then I did Leo, and now I'm going into Virgo. So if you guys are any of those signs, you can go back afterwards and watch afterwards. So I'm going to be just shuffling a card now for the energy of Virgo. So if you guys know your Sun, Moon, and Venus signs in love lives, your Venus sign is very important, not just your first sign. So you will want to know what that is, and then you can have an additional, if you know those signs, probably about 5 different reading directions out of this one particular reading. If you guys don't know how to do that, you can PM me later, about that, and I'll show you exactly how to, where to go to do that and find that information out. So, Virgo, you have Awakening, Sleeping Beauty, okay? So, 32. Once I'm done introducing these cards, I will be involving them in readings, but when I first got them, I was directed to do readings like this first to introduce them to the public so you guys know what the cards are about, and then later on when I'm using them in readings, then the energy will connect in with you guys a little bit better, okay? So, Sleeping Beauty, Awakening. When the child is 16, he will perk up her fingers from upon a spindle and die. And the king and queen cried out, and begging the fairy to forgive them and remove the curse. But the fairies refused to do so. But one fairy stepped forward and said, I cannot undo this curse, but what I can do is alter its course. Beauty shall not die when she touches the spindle, but when she will fall into a deep sleep for 100 years. It is right that in this tale the family of Sleeping Beauty decide they will fall into the same enchanted sleep along with their daughter, a princess who is cursed by the fairy with a grudge. When the Princess Aurora is born, her parents invite the magical the chief magical beings of the kingdom to offer them a rare gift, and they are genuinely overjoyed at the birth of this child, who has been longed for far before she was born. But there is one fairy they did not invite, and in some versions of the tale this is deliberate, in others it is an oversight. In others still it is the reason that they have not had enough wealth to share with the being unknown as Maleficent. While the offended fairies pay back to the family's sights to its curse. Just a second, I'll reread that. While the offended fairies pay back to the family's slights its curse to Aurora to die when she pricks her finger upon the needle from a spinning wheel, a late arrived fairy can often soften the blow with her blessing. And Aurora will simply fall into a deep sleep, and she can only be awakened from the kiss of a lover whose heart is true. Instead of raising Aurora with this knowledge, the family endangers her even more by keeping the prophecy from her. And in this ignorance, most endangers her. And when she gives the curse its opportunity to take hold, when this card comes out to you, you will learn that someone has tried to protect you from a harsh truth by keeping information that is vital from you. There is no escape from this dilemma. You are inherited, but it is you who will be able in time to find a way through the challenge, and you will not be alone, and you will be never abandoned, and to be awakened to the truth. And when you wake up, so will others around you who will wish to protect you, but the truth only made you more vulnerable. So I'm sensing some karmic issues come in here now, Virgo, and what I feel is going on is that there's been some divine union that has come in at your birth so that you understand what is actually happening in your life right now. I feel like things have been taken away from you. You have been in deep sleep, and I also feel here, Virgo, that your spiritual awakening is starting to open up. So your third eye, you may be like connecting with things or understanding things on a different level. You may be feeling energies come in here, Virgo, that you've never really thought about in the past. So what I'm sensing here, Virgo, is that if this is your moon sign, Virgo is your moon sign, strongly people who have Virgo moon signs, this is for you for sure with your third eye opening. So you may have very vivid dreams through the Scorpio season, and you may be feeling like an inward guidance of what's going on in your life right now. I want you to really trust that intuition is what I'm sensing, okay? So now we're going to move into, oh my gosh, the energy of Libra. Whoop, there we go. Hansel survival. Ha. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to get before I read this is that Hansel seems to me a masculine energy. I've never read this before, so you and I are reading it together for the first time. Feels like you're in a mode here, people who are dealing with trying to get themselves together and trying to work out energies that are not going to just keep you in survival mode. That's what I'm sort of sensing. So you're trying to push something forward, trying to burst something either at work or in your own life or in your own love life. So let's just see what's going on. When the moon came, they set out, but they found no crumbs, for the many thousands of birds which fly out in the woods and fields had picked them all up. Hansel said to Gretel, "We shall soon find the way." But they did not find it. This tale, its horrors and cruelty, is one of the fairy tales that lodges in our minds and stays with us our whole lives. These two children are not lost, nor do they accidentally come across hardship. They are most deliberately abandoned by their natures of their stepfather and stepmother. It is the stepmother who persuades the natural father to let his children starve to death or be attacked by animals and thus become food themselves. This painting of Hansel is almost like the first part of passing of the terrible test these children are undertaking through the tale, but it is about intelligence and brains that when under threat, that Hansel, who is first, outthinks his father and stepmother and leaves behind the trail of breadcrumbs throughout the forest. He sacrifices their food so that they can find their way home, but the second time he cannot help but finds their way home. He is the courageous brother who confronts the terrible problem despite his fear, because this one and the great message of this tale, everything that... Sorry guys, people keep calling me, so I have to put up with that for a little bit till I figure that out. Okay, so this is about intellect and brains when under threat, and Hansel, when first outthinks his father and stepmother and leaves behind the trail of breadcrumbs throughout the forest, he sacrifices their last food so that they can find their way home. But the second time he cannot find their way home. His courageous brother confronts the terrible problem despite his fears. So the message of this tale, that everything that takes place within this tale is horrifying, and yet everything met with equal measure of teamwork, truth, and fear are abandoned, deserted, and when they are truly devoured, and it is Hansel's hunger that leads him to making dangerous mistakes, of being drawn to the cottage. But with this cage, he still faces fear and uses his wits again to fool the witch who wishes to eat him and his sisters. In this way, the tale shows you that you too must find a clever way to outwit those who would harm you in the moment. You must combine your wits and and your ability to think fast, access your inner genius, and outthink those who would endanger or disadvantage you. You do not want to be gullible, and you must not be foolish. You have to develop courage, and the situation currently finds you within the opportunity, so you truly get better. There is also an opportunity to work as a team with others who are equally disadvantaged at this time. Be shrewd and be wise. Feel your fear, and this will inspire dread. But know that your quick wits can overcome this great challenge at this time. And is it not fair? Not at all. Is it right? Could anything be less than true? Does that matter? No, it does not. In this situation, you must use energy of your own fear to inspire the quickest, smartest thinking and actions that you have ever taken. So, Libra, I'm feeling like this is a huge life-altering time for you between now and next summer. So watching the first part and the second part of the series, I feel is very, very important for you here, Libra. I'm sensing that a lot of you may be in legal situations that you're contending with, and you may truly want to have the correct legal representation. That's what I'm sensing. I'm feeling that you delve in deep. You are checking everything very diligently, and I do feel that there's success for you coming in next year. So by, I would say, like June, July. Okay, so this is important for you guys to be contending with. I'm also sensing something here. So I don't know who else is watching this, but I feel like some of you may be incarcerated. And so this is something for you to be contending with in your life, so that you get yourself out of situations that you've got yourself into that are not healthy for you. And so this is giving you time to contemplate what you need to do to get yourself out of that situation. So I'm not sure who that's for, but there you go. So that information hopefully will help you figure out things. And maybe if you go back to... I feel like the energy of the fairies are there to take you back to your childhood, so you figure yourself out there. So you know, obviously this is a general reading for all of Libras. So whoever needs to hear the message first, the most important messages will come out. Now I'm going to pull an individual card afterwards at the end of the fairy tale readings. I have a few more to go. I'm now going on to Scorpio, and I'll do Sagittarian, then... Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. I've already done all the other signs previously, so you'll have to go back and listen to the beginning if you need to do that. Once this video is up, I'm not even sure if you can start it when I'm doing live or not at the beginning or over, so I'll timestamp everything after. So, Scorpio, for your present card within this fairy tale segment, the future. Ha, you're not getting the same card. This can't be. Okay, we're going to keep shuffling. So you might want to listen to the last reading, which was Libra's, Scorpio. So that may apply for you very strongly as well. So let's see here, Scorpio. Okay, there we go. Rumpelstiltskin, Secrets. All right. So I was going to find it in the book and then read it. Okay. All right. Hopefully it's not too glary, guys. Rumpelstiltskin, Secrets. By daybreak, a king was already there, and when he saw the gold, he was astonished and delighted, but his heart became only more greedy, and he had a miller's daughter taken into another room full of straw, which was much larger, and commanded her to spin that also in one night, that if she valued her life. This ancient tale is one which haunts so many, for who has not experienced the heroine's dilemma? The daughter of an ambitious and boastful miller is compromised in every way when he proclaims that she can spin straw into gold. Of course, the spinning is an art in itself and valued skill, and a recruiting method in fairy tales. The wheel which turns again and again. But in this tale, the miller's daughter must bear the burden of her father's boast. She is taken by the king to a castle and locked within the room filled with straw, and the single spinning wheel. She must prove her father's boast true, presented to the king with gold in the morning, or die for her father's lie. She breaks down. And weeps, knowing that when she has been set in an impossible task that is performed by morning, she'll die. A small charming man, gnomes and magical traditions are masters of metal and stone, and this appears. He offers to complete this impossible task for her, and thus saves her life. In return, he wants her firstborn. Her choice is hopeless, death, or is it a terrible sacrifice? The sadness within this tale comes from a person who has so much to be valued, being told that she's not enough without being superhuman. She is beautiful, she is kind, and she can spinning and sacred, it's the most purposeful, true work. The only thing lacking is money, And to make up for this, a ridiculous boast put to the test. Who will pay the price? Not the father who told the lie, the daughter. So when this card comes to you, be wary of people who boast on your behalf. You'll be a person who has to pay the price for that life and those lies. This young woman is exploited by her father, then the king, and then even by the little man who comes to her aid at a terrible price. However, there is an escape clause within this terrible bargain. The young man marries the king. Little does he deserve her. In due time, their child is born, and her magical helper comes to her claim his debt. She breaks down and gives her an out. If she can discover his name by morning, she will not have to fulfill the bargain. This old credence that knowing the name of a magical being grants you power over them still has residence to this day. The little man is so convinced that she never knows his name. He lets down his guard, and she follows him and overhears him singing a little chant in which he says his name, which of course is Rumpelstiltskin. This story has so many examples of exploitation. The one person within the tale who struggles against so much injustice in the miller's daughter, who is also never defined except by the title. So when this card comes to you, check on what promises or debts that you have inherited. Be wary of others making promises for your work so that you can do without consulting you. And always know that there can be a way out, even if the most awful contract and promises have been made. You have talents and gifts that they need for value for themselves, as you do. So here, I'm sensing, Scorpio, that somebody is definitely taken advantage of and has exploited your gifts. I feel like within this next year, you straighten out all the exploitations that have gone on in the past. I feel like, you are gathering your own energy here, Scorpio. You're not allowing this to happen. You got the number, you got the name, you got that Rumpelstiltskin, you got the name, you got their number, and you are no longer allowing this crap in your life. That's what I'm sensing very strongly here. Scorpio, I'm sensing that anybody coming at you, you will pay off old debts. You keep your word, you keep your promise, but you're not allowing that back in your life, and you find a way out of things that allow you to keep your own gold, your own self, your own values without compromising your integrity at the end of the day by calling the other person out on their nonsense. So this may be some coming to you between now and the last little while that you have broken up with that is coming after money. I'm also feeling that kind of thing. So just really watch yourself there, okay, guys? And be smart. Use your wits, all right? So now we're going to go into the energy of Sagittarian. So what do the fairies have to say for your future into the next year? Excuse me a minute. The Golden Goose Thief. Ooh. What do you guys, tell me if you guys like these fairy cards. I really like them. Eventually I'm going to get using and just read what I need to, but I wanted to, like I said before, do this for people so that you guys get the energy and feel of the reading for yourself as well from the person who wrote and created the cards, which I find a fabulous interpretation of the fairies. So I really connect in with them. I love them. So, 15 here, the Goose Girl Theft. I feel like the 15th may be important for you, Sagittarians. When the hour of departure drew near, the old queen went to her bedroom, and taking a small knife, she cut her fingers until they bled, and she held a white handkerchief beneath them, and let 3 drops of blood fall upon it. She gave it to her daughter, and said, "Dear child, take great care of this token of my love, for it may be of great use to you upon your journey." A young princess set out on a long journey to marry a prince. Her mother, a widowed queen, gave her only daughter a protective charm. These 3 drops of her own royal blood upon a snow in a white kerchief, a golden goblet from which to drink, and the princess will take this journey upon her beloved horse, a wondrous Falada, who was an extraordinary talent. He can talk. This is crazy that this is for Scorpio. This I feel this energy just Oh, no, sorry, we're on Sagittarian, right? Wait a minute, what am I doing here? Which sign am I doing? Sagittarian, or am I doing Scorpio? I feel like I'm doing Sagittarians. You know what? If I miss Scorpio, let me know, but I feel like this is for Sagittarius. Okay. So for this to be coming in on a horse for Sagittarian, I'm just getting like this is such a powerful reading for you guys. She is to be accompanied by her maidservant, and to do two women, one royal, one servant, set out upon the journey to destiny. Hours of travel, and the castle is far behind them. Thirsty is the princess, and asks the servant to fetch her water in the golden cup. But the maidservant tells her shortly to get off and get it herself. She will not give the princess the golden goblet. So the queen's daughter cups her hands in the flowing water of the river and drinks. While leaning over, the 3 drops of blood somehow speak, singing that if her mother knew how she was being treated, her heart would be broken. A second time the princess stops and asks for water again. The servant refuses. The princess, shocked, drinks again from the stream, and again the mother's charm sighs, but speaking how wrong this treatment is, and to beware. The treatment is so. The princess is so shocked at the warning, she tumbles forward into the stream, and the kerchief, with her mother's blood and magical protection, is lost. With the golden goblet, in the keeping of the maid, the blessing of the mother is lost. The maiden makes her move and demands the princess strip and swap clothes with her. She explains that she's going to be the princess, and she will marry her intended. And if the princess speaks a word, the maid will kill her. She forces her to swear an oath in silence that she will never speak to another person of this crime. And the princess, disabled by her own gentleness and shelter's life, obeys and agrees, so that one begins her life as a servant, and ultimately the goose girl in the kingdom she was once meant to rule over. This story seems a simple one of true identity and injustice. It also seems to be about, at its heart, overcoming intimidation and restoration. But this tale is also deeply magical. The charm is given to the princess is one of the most important of the fairy tale symbols. The river is the place where the true self is lost, and from that point forward, she is no longer able to speak her truth to a single person. The loss of this protection of her mother is the catalyst. Is the catalyst for change within this tale. When we lose, or who we are, our ancestors' link, our stories, our connection to this place in this land of blood, we are lost to the identity that can be taken. And we can be bullied and intimidated into giving up our power, even our true selves. So that the maid takes the goblet, and the princess's horse, and the noble Falada, and when she takes her destiny, the prince is fooled, and for she sees only the maid's fine garments, and her pretty face. But when the king can see the young servant's dignity, beauty, and grace, even so the false princess has Falada's head cut off, so he cannot share the truth with anybody. And she hangs his head over the gates of the castle to remind the goose girl of what the fate will be if she speaks out against the false princess. For each day she tends these geese, and combs her hair in golden strands, and flies in breeze, and speaks with Falada's head beneath the gate of the castle, sharing her burdens and fears. Her friendship continues even after death. The king seeks and speaks with Falada, even if she refuses to share with him what it was she spoke of. He convinces her that she must share her tale of the iron stove, and place the ironclad safety where no soul will hear her. Her stories spill out, and her heart breaks over the murder of Falada, and the golden cup, and the loss of her mother's gift, and how ashamed she is of letting both her mother and her dead father down. The king, now aware of the deception, asks the false princess, what would she do? What would someone steal? A true princess's identity, slaughter a magical beast, steal a mother's charm, and deceive a prince and a king. The false princess declares that she would send this person rolling down a steep hill, trapped within a barrel, studded and with sharp nails. The king declares that this is her fate, and the free goose, and restores to her the royal status. This may seem to be a tale about a bitter servant and a weak princess, but it is, at heart, about the protective magic and magical beasts, about the appearances of truths, and about identity and generational truths. There is a rich vein of symbolism in this beauty tale. It is, and so when this card comes through, know that someone extremely honorable has been wronged, and their work and a special signature has been stolen from them, and that truth must come out. And if any have stolen or taken what belongs to you, metaphorically or actually from you, it will be restored to the rightful owner. It also speaks of how the cruelty of malevolent and jealous souls wish upon the innocent another will only return to them. Their will be balanced, and a reckoning again. The strong connection with nobility exists beyond death. Fralada's magic continues and cannot be killed, nor can the truth. Justice will be done. Allies continue to do their work on your behalf, and even when the protection of parents vanish, your own integrity and the nature will see you through. Truth pours forth, and the old kings, wise in their perceptive, hears all her words and knows the truth for himself for the first time. She may have lost her status, but the nature is still noble. After 3 days of tending these geese, her story becomes known, and the false princess is punished cruelly. After choosing the punishment for herself, the princess learns wisdom and how easily he was fooled. Falada says, half within this world and half within the other, and the princess does not forget what it is that needs to be left out, and this is the kind and fair queen in her turn. You know, here, Sagittarius, I'm sensing that sensing here that there is something that has been taken away from you. If I miss Scorpio, please let me know for sure, okay? And I'll go back and do another one, but it's going to stick with Sagittarian because I was feeling the energy of the Sagittarian come down. So, as I'm feeling this, I feel like there has been something that has been taken away from you, something that has been divinely guided towards you, and somebody has tricked this away from you. I also feel energy of deception from other people strongly in and around you, and so your people are karmically kind of being served in the next little while what they've taken away from you, and you are going to receive back what was taken away from you, and you're going to look at the end of it, and people are going to see. I'm going to sense this, I feel this strongly. People are going to see at the end of the day that you're in integrity, that you're standing within what is the right thing to do, and you have never tried to manipulate your energy with somebody else. I am feeling, you know, here, Sagittarian, that many people think that you are manipulative, but a Sagittarian sometimes has the sort of feeling of that people don't, that they don't tell the truth, or that they're really promiscuous, that kind of thing. And I'm going to say this, with Sagittarian, what I think is that when somebody does you wrong, their perception of what's going on in your life looks very different than from your perception. And from your perception, what I'm sensing here is that you have a just reason to leave that situation because it's harming your energetic field. And you're not going to tolerate that in your energetic field. You have higher sights. You have spiritual direction in your life right now that is guiding everything you're doing. It has an application to every piece of your life right now, Sagittarian. Very first and foremost between now and next year. So you really want to go forward with that. Okay? I am sensing very much that you're getting your just rewards. And it's been a long time coming. I feel like you Sagittarians have been suffering for quite a while. There may have been even like a 30-year cycle for some, 12 for some others. Okay, so that's quite an amazing thing for you there, Sagittarian. So, I'm going to move on now because nobody has confirmed that I am Miss Scorpio, because I think I did it, but I'm not sure. I think it might have been kind of quick, but I'm not sure. I get lost in this energy, and it's just like, it happens. All right. Let's see what's going on here. Tom Lynn battle. So Scorpio, Scorpio on the brain now. Capricorn, Tamlin, if my love were an earthly knight, though he is an elven grey, I would not give my own true love for any lord that he have. 3 times Tamlin changes, and 3 times Janet holds. She sprinkles a circle of earth and blesses water about him and brings him home. The tale of Tamlin is Scottish, and no one creates heroines like the Scots. Maybe it is called, this may be called Tamlin, but it is Janet's story. It is a story of initiation, change, transformation, and reckoning, and the freedom after imprisonment. The strong, fierce will of the heroine frees from the man held captive by a fairy queen, even though he is forced to change and change and change, and Janet must hold fast, not letting him go, until at last he returns to hot coals, and she flings him into the wells, and he is born again as his human self. When this card comes to you, you are being reminded of your amazing power to free others and to refuse to give in to overwhelming forces. You are so strong, and that you can set an incredible example of courage and pride. For this, the heroine is proud, and proud of her family, her name, and her choices, even when they have seen her walking out of what was considered to be the right thing for her to do. What does this mean for you? It means that despite the rules you've broken, you have done this for the right reason. Your immense resolve and determination are an inspiration to others, and always will be. You are so powerful that you are able to inspire others to become truly themselves. And when this card comes to you, like Janet in the Tamlin story, set others free for refusing to be intimidated. Stay true to yourself and to your own values, even when you walk in a strange land, as Janet does. And know that when you pick a rose, magic can happen. Love is also in the heart of Tamlin's stories, the refusal to discard a lover because they are difficult under difficult circumstances. Instead, choose to be strong and supportive, so when this card appears, you know you can stand by a friend and a loved one, and you can support and have the means to help the world and with them, especially during a difficult trial or even a court case. You are a tower of strength, and it will be appreciated, and so much love will be yours. But you do not do this for a reward. You do it because it is right, and because the love you have goes beyond good times, and it extends into the nightmare that all human experiences throughout their lives, and your loyalty is shining light for others to reach for their dark moments. All right, so Capricorn, I definitely feel that like some warrior energy going on here. I'm sensing that you guys have you're sort of feeling like you have a big battle to contend with. Like I said, there's some court. I feel like a lot of legal situations going on here. So but you know, you're in the right. So I don't want you to worry about it. I feel like it's all going to smooth out. So I between now and next summer, I feel like you need to just be calm and know that you're in the right and just keep going forward. And other people, you know, they're going to push against you and your will and the correct thing to do because they think they're doing the right thing, and they think that you are in the wrong. And so they're going to see in time that you are doing the correct thing. That's what I'm sensing here. Okay, I'm feeling like in time they're going to see that you're doing the right thing. But you are definitely in the middle of a battle, but it's coming to resolution by 2020. I would say by, I'm kind of sensing April, but I'm going to say June to be on the safe side. Okay. Whoop. Not taking a repeat. Trying to shuffle in front of you guys, and it's hard because the camera angle. All right, so on to Aquarius now. Fairy Ointment, the Sight. This is a beautiful card. I remember reading it in one of the other ones just because it was such a beautiful card. Okay, so if you have Aquarius in your chart, if it's your first sign, or one of your Moon or Venus or Jupiter signs, then this is for you. And same with all the other ones. If you have it in your Moon, Venus, and Jupiter, then these readings are for you as well. You'll want to listen to this as well. The Wild Swans. Whoop, no, not 43. Ha, wrong one. Sorry about that. Fairy Ointment, the Sight. Oh, you see too much, he said. Now pray with each eye. What do you see? With the right eye, to be sure, she said, as proud as can be to find him out. There is an old fairy legend that states if you wipe pollen gently across your eyelids, you'll be able to see the fairies. And in this tale, a wise woman and a healer hears a knock on the door at midnight, and at the threshold stands a strange little man who asks the healer to come with him to tend to his wife and baby, for she is too ill to care for herself. The Dame Goody did not like the look of the man, but when you heal, you go where you are called. And so he helped her into the back of his steed and a wild coal-black stallion with his eyes of fire, and together they ride into the night. When they arrive at the little cottage, Dame Goody is called to the mother's side, and she hands him a pot of ointment to put the good old woman. He tells her to stroke the babe's eyelids with the ointment, and soon it is awakened. Dame Goody awaits in the child's awakening, and the babe opens its eyes, and she strokes them gently with ointment, smelling of pollen and sunshine and butterfly wings. Curious, she then strokes a little onto one of her own eyes, and then slowly gazes out, entranced, for the woman she tends is unearthly beautiful, long and fair in form. Her voice is like a bell chime, and the child prettier and the babe she's ever seen or set eyes upon. After so many years of nursing them, their clothes seem spun of finest silver gray silk, and the little brothers and sisters that are all pointy ears and big-eyed and pale as snow. The world has changed about her forever, and for she had now the sight, and could see the true form of all things. But she was wise and kept silent on this sight, and she kept the lady in the bed again. Oh, and she checked the lady in the bed again, and judging her to be well enough to rest and to be rested now, the babe cared for her. She asked for if she could return home, and the fairy man gathered her up and placed her again on the midnight steed. Into her cottage they went back at a dawn's broke and cleaned the streaks across the sky. He handed her a purse full of gold coins, more money than he had ever seen before, and he thanked her gruffly, but with respect, and then he left. The next day Dame Goody went to the market, taking some of the gold with her to purchase things that she had never seen before, been able to afford. Who do you think she saw? 'Twas the fairyman from the day before, plucking fruits from the flowers, hats and heads and eggs from hens a-laying in their pens, and not a person seemed to mind. She was grateful for this generosity of this day, so often that she was paid in herbs and simples rather than a coin. And so she curtsied and smiled and wished him a pleasant day, and asked after his wife. Golden sir, I hope as how your good lady and this little one are well. But startled was the fairyman, and jumped back, his face suddenly red with rage. What? He cried out. Not a soul turned around. You can see me? He demanded. Yes, she said quietly, beginning to feel the chill of fear climb up her spine. Ah, you see too much, he said. Now pray, with which eye do you see all this? She backed away, touching her right eye, and he struck her with a wand or a stick or perhaps a sparkling glow of energy, and she fell to the ground. Ointment, ointment, cried the fairyman. Take that from for meddling with what you does not concern you, and you shall see me no more. And she never saw from that eye ever again. Now when this card comes to you, know that there are times when you see what you do and what you see with your gift of your sight, and into it more than others wish to know. And you must choose wisely when to speak of this and when to keep silent of this, and only to yourself. For when we have gifts like these, some boast of them, and there is no way to use of this gift. You will when you work with your gift humbly, and only when you are openly asked to give help, then you help and are able to use it. But at that other time it is best to keep it very, very quiet, and to never take anything from the fairies without them offering it to you first. For it is to take from them is to lose a great deal. So, I'm feeling here, you know, all of those lessons, of course, apply for yourself. But I am also feeling here, Aquarius, that somebody's doing this to you. I feel like somebody's trying to take from you. And I feel like the fairies are giving you also back something that has been taken from you. There's a lot of karmic energy, and a lot of the collective readings, you know, the energy collectively that I'm sensing is having karmic energy returned, and rewards that have, for people who have had things taken away from them. I feel like their rewards are coming in. The people who have been taken, their rewards are also coming to them. And it is coming within a period, like I said, this goes till probably 2020, into, I'm feeling July here for you, Capricorn. So, sorry, not Capricorn, Aquarius. You may be dealing with a Capricorn, okay? So that may be part of what's happening here. I do feel here also that you are creating a nest egg for yourself here, Aquarius, and so you want to keep things hidden. If you see things psychically, develop that a little bit more before you just talk about everything. I feel like there's an awakening happening here for you as well, and so just before you go off and talk about everything, be cautious. And similar card, we're not taking that. Be cautious and be careful who you talk, and just beware of your psychic abilities. It's time for observing now. Okay, so now we're going to Pisces. Energy of Pisces. Whoop. The poisoned apple. Okay. Number 6. When I'm done this reading of this one, I will be pulling some cards for about 15 minutes with people, okay? So here we have the poisoned apple, jealousy. Are you afraid of being poisoned? Said the old woman. Look, I'm cutting the apple in two, and you shall eat the red cheeks, and I'll eat the white. But the apple had been made so cleverly that only the red cheek was poisoned. When someone intends to hurt us, they rarely take root that is conspicuous and easy to see. They tend to plan and to plot, and then to find a way that will reach us and will get to us. So they use camouflage. So it is with the poisoned apple and their stories of Snow White. The apple is a symbol of wisdom and knowledge, and a symbol of feminine power and of magic due to its internal 5-pointed star, and the taint that made and tainted and made to hold poison. So the tale holds an underlying message that something that should nourish us can destroy us. The old woman, who would be a source of wisdom, becomes a source of false wisdom. False wisdom is when those who are elders are sometimes embittered, and what they pass on can be tainted. So when this card comes to you, question the reasoning for the bitter words in the lesson that seems to be a gift, and it is actually designed to hurt. Within this tale, there is a moment when the cunning and guise refuse, and artifice take advantage of the good-heartedness of the recipient. If you have received this card, you must know that there is no one who is not your friend. Oh, so sorry, that if you have received this card, you must know that there is one who is not your friend, but one who would have you think so. They do not want you to be on your guard. They are working to find a right way to approach you in order to harm you. Within this tale of Snow White, the evil queen, or the mad mother, wishes to devour the energy of the life of the young beautiful daughter, who may not have been hers by blood. She have become so at it that going after one, that she wants what she has lost sight or feeling of those behind her. She has lost sight of their humanity and their feelings and the cares, long and needs are satisfied. But she knows how to frame love. She knows how to draw one close, and she knows how to shield herself from suspicion. This card comes to you. Ask what gifts it is in disguise that are malintent. Ask what temptation has been offered that is a poison for your soul. Think again and again before you accept that poison apple, and remember a wolf in sheep's clothing. Remember the arts of those who hunt and can cause harm. And refuse the apple. Find your own way to power, to knowledge, and to love and wisdom. If you accepted a poison apple, fear not. You will recover, and the pain of your journey will be and grant you the gifts of experience, true sight, and clear view of your relationships. Guys, Pisces, I'm truly feeling here, and I've been feeling this for a little while with Pisces, that there's somebody that you're contending with in your life that is not going to be telling you the truth. They're coming to you with false love. They're coming to you in insecurity. I feel like if you have children, if you have children here, Pisces, that you're contending with somebody who is not very kind to your children behind closed doors. They are feeling very embittered at the fact that some of you who have children, I feel like they're embittered at the fact that you have children here. So, and it's interfering with their life. So I feel like there's a real selfish person around you, and possibly who you have had children with, or is trying to trick you into having children. You know, I'm picking that up as well here, Pisces. So be cautious of the shiny apple that's been presented to you, okay? That's what I'm getting strongly. Okay, so those are the readings for all the astrological signs. I hope you enjoyed those fairy tales. I love these cards, and like I said, I'll integrate them into the reading a little further down the road. Once I'm done, now that I'm done this 3-part series, I'll do readings with them. Okay, so today though, I'm going to use the Rider-Waite deck, and I'm going to start to do a reading for everybody. And people who were in earlier, Martha, I think were you in a little earlier asking for a reading? I can't remember. So what I'm going to do is, if you guys have questions, I'm going to pull a card for you. Otherwise, I'm going to do a collective reading, and I'm going to end, okay? So if you want a question, just put your name up, and I will do a reading for you. I don't really want, okay? Caitlin, I'll start with you, and then Martha. Okay. I'm sorry if I got names pronounced wrong, but I think you know who I mean. Caitlin, I think that's how you pronounce it. So I'll start with you. So just concentrate on what you need to concentrate on. Well, I think it's already done. So, 2 cards have popped up, but I just need one here. Knight of Pentacles. I feel like someone may be moving towards you that is bringing you an offer of love. I feel like if you're not in a relationship, you've started a new relationship, or have one coming in very shortly, okay? If you are within a relationship, I feel like here, Caitlin, that you will be manifesting finances within your relationship, whether it's new or you don't have one yet or not. But I feel like as soon as you get into that relationship, is coming in soon, money will start to flow a lot better for you. And the reason why is because this partner, I feel, comes to you correctly. They have a good solid financial base, and I feel you do as well. But put together, your vibrations together it feels like really light, really good, and it feels like you almost don't believe that this is happening. And I feel like by next year, I don't know what sign you are here, Caitlin, but I feel like by next year, 2020, I'm sort of sensing by April, something's coming in for you. So whatever it is that you're working on financially and towards relationships, it's all good. It feels really, really good. Just watch your own personal talk. That's what I feel. Watch your own personal talk and keep going on your ideas. I feel like maybe there's some entrepreneurial ideas that you're moving forward with, and I feel like you really truly should. Okay? I feel like you should progress, and it's the right thing for you to be doing. It's a good financial move for you. But it's not going to be easy, always easy. You may also be moving, I'm sensing. You may also be moving next year, if you choose. You're a Gemini? Yeah. Okay, so, pardon me. I feel if you're a Gemini, I'm going to say this to you. You've had someone in your life that has been very destructive, and you need to cut that tie off. Once you do, and you go to the calmer person, is what I'm getting. That's the person that you need to go towards. Not the person that is the fun, happy, crazy person. That person's going to get you into more trouble than not. That's what I'm sensing strongly for you. Okay, Martha, I'm going to do, so your Libra and your Pisces moon. So I'm going to take these two cards. Well, there's a couple of cards coming out, but I'm just going to take these because I want to show them to you. So Temperance, you have Temperance. You have energy where you're going to be a little bit patient with what's coming in for you. I do feel marriage coming in for you, a full marriage, full-on marriage in your next relationship. If you are you attached with someone? I don't know, but I feel like you're not. I feel like what this is coming in the future. And so next year, is more what you're going to look at. And I do want you to, I want you to be very cautious of people who are coming to you in falsity. And I also want you, you're very welcome, hon. I hope that was helpful for you. I feel like, Martha, that, oh, no, your partner's Libra and you're Pisces. I don't know how I don't know what I read there. Okay. So, partner wishes marriage. That's what I'm sensing in the future. Okay? Are you, I don't know if you're married, but there's definitely actual marriage here, commitment, and I feel like by next summer, there is, I feel like there's strong, like a ceremony coming in, initiation. So this is involving initiation. So it could be spiritual, a spiritual energy coming in that's a little stronger between you and your partner. I feel like an awakening, third eye, possibly more spiritual awakening for your partner as well as you. If your partner's Pisces, they feel like they're not so much feeling that soulmate connection, but I feel like they will stronger and have spiritual awakenings within that and want that deeper commitment. And if they are in a deep commitment with you, whatever the situation, I feel like spiritually they connect in more with you and the vibration smooths out. So I feel like there may be some rocky ways, obviously new child coming in, lots of attention on the baby. So sometimes, relationships have a difficult time in that period, but I feel like there's a lot of joy and happiness and goodness around there. But a lot of a connection coming in with the Pisces, with the water energy. And for you, Libra, I feel like the balance is finally coming in for you. You're feeling that happiness of that wave coming in and settling in. So within 5 months, I'm seeing something come in for you, very, very committed, and like it feels definitely like soulmate energy. And I'm going to say this, if you're married, you're connecting in on a soulmate level on the ethers. And so you're bringing that energy down onto the earth plane. Okay, good. Get rid of that, honey, because I feel like there's addiction situations going on, and I feel like it'll pull you down in a very negative spot. So just watch it, and watch, I was going to say, watch how you are with others as well. Like, make sure you speak your truth and have a sight on where you need to. Okay, good. I'm glad. So you're the Pisces. I don't know why that was so mixed up for me reading it, but seems like you wrote a couple of different things. But anyways, maybe not. However that applies to the things, that's how you feel, you know, that applies for you, okay, Martha? I would suggest listening to binaural beats. I would suggest listening to meditative music, meditations, that kind of thing. Connect inwardly. There's a lot of information on the internet about meditation. Be cautious on where you go and what you're doing. There's a lot of nonsense out there as well. So at one point I'll put up a meditation sign, but I am feeling that for you, Martha, that, you know, just keep going on that, okay? Those are some things that'll help you. I don't know if I've missed anybody else, so whoever I haven't read for. Okay, David. Sorry, it's the second. David, I don't know if you wanted a sign or if anybody else wanted a card pulled for them. I'll pull a card for you guys if you want. All right, well, thank you for joining me then. I am going to do a collective reading. I pulled just one card for the collective. And, oh, good. I'm glad. That's good. It's coming. I'm glad. So for the collective reading, it seems like everybody's on a new journey. Okay, so understand that Venus right now is pushing people for opening for soulmate journey. So those of you who are watching are probably feeling like you want to go on a soulmate journey, connecting in some of those fairy readings that we talked about earlier. Okay, Melissa, I'll get you in a minute. Some of those things that we talked about earlier, all of these new things coming out are opening up within the next year. So if you're not in soulmate connection, trust that this is coming in for you guys, okay? Because this is not a light avenue to be taking. This is not a life purpose that's easy for people to take. This is why there's great guidance within it. There's guidance within financial stuff and everything else with tarot, you know, but with love life especially, it affects so many things in our life that we need to have fresh starts. Karmic cycles are ending, and it has ended on that full moon yesterday. That energy in the evening set, and now we're bursting on that new energy. So this is what I feel these fairies are telling us, and to just be patient within this next year, okay? We are really working out a lot of stuff on all levels of humanity. There's a lot of nonsense happening out there as far as the way men and women are treating each other within relationships, let alone just, you know, in general in the world. So there's much to change within that. And we are collectively, as humans, growing past a lot of stuff. And the fairies are helping us. Okay, Melissa. After Melissa, if there's anybody else who wants something, then I will do one more if you guys want, and if not, then I'll sign off and you'll have to catch me another time, okay? So Melissa. And look at that. Bottom of the deck, you got here, you got the Fool, so that was very important for you to listen to. And here you are carrying a bunch of burdens going on here. So I am sensing that you are carrying the burdens of other people. I feel like you maybe have thinking, either if you're with someone, you may be thinking about separating from that person because it is too much trouble. You're putting too much energy in, and I'm going to tell you this, whether you're with someone or not, you have a tendency to put too much into the relationship and they're not feeding you the energy back. So what I'm going to tell you about this is talk to you about the infinity loop energy. So the figure 8 on its side, right? If you put energy into something within a relationship, and on that swing back, they're not going to, so here you go, you're building your own energy and you're giving them energy, and on that swing back, if they're not like bringing energy back to you, you don't keep building the energy and feeding it back to them so that their bubble gets bigger. You know what I'm sensing? So I'm feeling like this is why you're burdened. It's other people's problems here, hun. I feel like the second you let go of other people's problems, whether you're in a relationship or not, this is not your issue. Stop center yourself, and start to contend with your own problems. This is a distraction to pull you away that is burdensome for your heart. I feel like your heart's been very, very hit, and I feel like you're moving. I feel like here, Melissa, that you're moving. I feel like you're moving away from something. I feel like you're moving away from a relationship, a past, a whole energy of what you no longer want. And it is burdensome to you. I feel like your heart has been very, very hard. Take care of yourself. Take care of your heart and have healing in your heart, okay? Like, allow your heart to heal. I feel like you should take time before you start something new, but you are going away on a new journey. You're starting a whole new energy, okay? If you start a new relationship, I'm not going to say don't, but I do think that it's very wise for people to take energy of healing first before you do that. So I am sensing something coming in for you, though, okay? That's going to be good. Maybe they'll help you, but help you unlift some of these burdens. But, you know, standing in your own right is also important, and working through your own problems to that degree is helpful for you as well. So I am sensing that that would be wise for you to let somebody in a little bit, but not too much where you're just going to forget everything, like sort of, you know, and depend on that person for your own spiritual development and strength of will, so that those things don't happen to you again. If someone just comes along and rescues you and fills that void, they're going to always fill that void. Eventually they're not going to be there for you to have that strength to fill that void yourself, you know, and contend with. And so then it builds strength within in the reciprocating energy when you're giving back. That they've given you, you give back, you know. So only give when you give a little. If you want to test it out, you give a little. And if you're receiving energy that you're comfortable with, then you can give a little more, you know. But pace yourself with it is what I'm getting. So all right. So Caitlin, okay, I'm going to give you one more question here. You're only really supposed to ask one question, one quick card pulling, but since there's only you in the room, I'll just let you pick, and then I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. So if you have a question, go ahead and I'll answer. Typically, I would just pull a card for you, but you're welcome, hon. I'm glad you enjoyed and get some value out of it. Okay. So Caitlin, if you want, yeah? Okay. So Caitlin, what was it that you wanted to ask? I'm just going to pull a card because one flew across the room. Oh, well, you got two of them now. All right, so I don't know what you were wanting to ask extra there, Caitlin, but I'm going to tell you something. What has come forward is the Empress and childhood memories. So there is some energy that you have coming forward to you that you're working on since childhood that you are mastering right now. So, you know, light on your baby situation. Baby. This represents baby. I don't know. So that I didn't read your question before I answered. So this is definitely baby coming in. And this is something with childhood dreams. So you maybe have dreaming about this situation for a long time. It's coming in for you. It's going to come in for you. I feel like within this next year, it's going to come in for you. If that's what you're asking about for a baby to come in, then it's coming in for you. What specifically are you asking about with the baby? Like, do you want to have a baby? Is there something going on with your baby? I feel like whatever. If you have a baby, then I feel like this child's going to be fine. If you feel like whatever is going on with your situation is going to be fine. If you are having a baby and wanting a baby, that's definitely pregnancy. And if you don't want to get pregnant, be careful. I'm going to tell you, be very cautious. Yeah? So let me talk about that, okay? What happens sometimes that energies when they come in, the soul has an agreement whether they want to be coming in or not at that specific time. They may not have had a ready energy to live up to their soul contract on this planet. So they decide to opt out. Now, when that happens, they typically want to come back in. Now, I do not feel that this is going to happen to you again. This is a very touchy subject, darling, and to do this here, I mean, like, you know, but I'm going to tell you, I do not sense that this is going to happen to you again. I do feel like if you went to have another baby, you had the Empress, I don't even know where it is right now, but I shuffled, but the Empress came through for you. And so when that comes through, then that tells me that you're mastering the motherhood energy. I would also do things like build up, you know, your vitamin intake, that sort of thing. Also, you know, obviously do all the things that you do. If you are not setting in this situation, it's okay, darling. I don't mind. It's nothing for me. It's maybe for you. But if you're setting in the energy of wanting a new baby, you have to get in contact with that soul piece that was part of your DNA. Because understand, they're going to want to come back in, okay, when you're ready. You can, I mean, every one of us women who deal with childbirth and losing children, it is such a sorrowful time, and there's nothing that anything can do to take that pain away from you. It's a part of your soul that feels ripped away from you. And so when that happens, you know, there needs to be a lot of healing that comes in. And, you know, when it's ready to come back in, it's going to come back in. And I will also say this, if it doesn't come in through you, I feel like it's going to be come in for you within children. So, well, congratulations. That's good. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Like that Empress energy is coming in, and you're going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Please don't put that in your mind, okay? Like, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. Listen to binaural beats for healthy body cells. Take all your, you know, all the doctor's instructions about vitamins. I feel like building up the lining of your uterus is important, and like vitamins. I feel like, you know, like, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but folic acid seems to be coming to me, and so, yeah. So that kind of thing. That's what I'm feeling. This baby wants to come in. This baby wants to come in. That's what I'm feeling strongly. It's going to bring you a lot of joy. That's what I feel. I feel it may be a boy as well. That's what I'm sensing. All right. So I'm not sure what other information you want there, but I've been reading now for a little while, so a couple of hours. So if you want to privately message me, you're more than welcome to, but I am sensing that those things are really, really important for you. Watch it. And I do feel like herbal medications, watch what you're doing with those things as well. Make sure that your doctor has I don't know why I feel like your blood level is important. So keep those things in mind, okay? It will come. Don't worry. You know what you do? Visualize that visualize only, yeah, I feel it's a boy. I visualize you playing with that baby, holding it, you know, keep that in your mind. That baby will tune in and know that it's time for you to come, and it's the time, okay? So don't worry, it's coming in for you. And those fairies read your story, read your fairy tales to the boy, okay? Read him stories. The fairies will protect him. Know that for real. They are in realms beside us, guys. So it's very, very important that we pass on that wisdom through these tales. That's what it's all about. And I will be putting probably, when I'm reading a little more eloquently and edited, because I'm not such a smooth reader, when I do it in private, I will be putting on for children probably these fairy tale stories and Aesop's fables or something like that with meditations, and do adult meditations as well. with all of these things. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you guys have a chance, please, if you manage to check out my GoFundMe page, same as the Moonlight Divine, if you guys can afford, please donate, because this does cost things, and it is a good energy exchange. If not, like and share and all that good stuff. Only donate if you can, okay? Talk to you later. Enjoy your week, and listen to these. These readings are for the next year or so, okay? So really enjoy yourselves, and have a great Wednesday morning. Bye for now.